Playoff implications on both sides Sunday between the first-place Rams and Lions. The Rams can make it 3 straight playoff appearances with a win. They haven't done that since 2001 with the greatest show on turf. As for the Lions, who are currently out of the playoff picture, ESPN Analytics says they have a 3-4 shot to make the playoffs with a win, but only 41% with a loss. It's the second highest differential in Week 15. Big gap there if they do end up losing this game. J-Mac, what should the game plan look like for the Lions offense on Sunday against that Rams defense?
I go back to a few weeks ago when the Rams were playing against the Panthers, and the Panthers went in, they ran the ball 40 times against them. They ran directly at this Rams defense, and the reason you do that is because the Rams up front are so good at getting after the quarterback, you have to make them earn that right. So you run the ball time after time. They had, I think it was 15 third downs in that game. 9 of them were 3rd and 5 or less. So you start to speed or slow the game down running the football. You put yourself in great situations on 3rd down, and now you've taken Matthew Stafford off of the field. And you look at it for the Lions. You have Jahmyr Gibbs. You have David Montgomery. You're running a ton of 6 offensive linemen and jumbo with Dan Skipper. Why not? Like, that just feels like Dan Campbell. Like, right now, our back's against the wall. Everything's a playoff game. I'm going to run you over and run through your face and try to go win this football game.
Bite your kneecaps off.
Hit us with run through your face and jumper cables. We are 9 minutes in.
I'm ready for some football.
Yeah. Duo. Can you stop duo? Duo is a double-team run-blocking scheme. I would say this, both teams. Whoever runs duo best is going to win this football game. It's the staple of run game-wise for the Detroit Lions. It certainly is the staple for the Los Angeles Rams. I'd also say this, and it's something that has shown up recently for the Rams. Can the secondary tackle properly? Yeah. You know, that's one of the premises of that run game is I want to try to get that run to that corner. And is that corner willing to fit it? If you remember the Pittsburgh-Buffalo game, all that game was getting that run to the corner, and the corners couldn't and wouldn't tackle. That would be my philosophy if I was Detroit. I want Forbes to be willing to tackle on a consistent basis. Been great in coverage. Yeah. But I got to see if you're going to be willing to meet that.
Play, that's tough as
exactly.
a corner.
You know, I'm always looking for like the 30,000-foot view of, all right, what's the big story? I immediately go to Goff and saying, Goff against the Rams. Here we go again. I loved Jared Goff's approach to this week. Just so you know, they asked him about it. He said, that trade was a long time ago. And then they asked him again. He goes, it doesn't matter, not so much anymore. Then finally another reporter asked him, and he said, we're still talking about this? So Jared Goff doesn't want to hear about him and McVay from 2021. The fact of the matter is, though, Chris Shula, the defensive coordinator, he was on the staff with Goff for many years when Goff was there as the quarterback, and they have played them 3 times since the trade. So this is a team that is very familiar with Jared Goff, and how fitting that Jared Goff is going up, trying to keep his team in the playoffs, trying to keep them in that NFC North battle. And who do they have to go beat? Shula and McVay. Naturally, that's how the NFL schedule goes. I also want to present something to somebody. You weren't with us in L.A. on Monday, and I wanted to get you a Christmas gift. Laura, I was going to get you one from the Chargers, but let's just say...
They may not want to give me one.
It got lost in the mail. I'm going to say, this is for you, Dan, and I would have given you this Monday. This is cute. Open it up and show the cameras what I got you here.
This guy's the worst, dude.
What is this? Hold it up.
Stafford for MVP.
This is it, all right? I feel like you needed this.
That.
I got this. I thought this was...
Dan, put it on.
This is... Can it fit you, or is it 6XL?
It's an XL. I'm more of a large.
Okay.
I'm more of a large. I can't put it on. I got a suit right now.
Yeah, okay, but what we're going to do is he's going to put it on and then put his suit jacket over it, and it'll just be right.
What I'm doing is I'm put it on and take a stupid picture and send it to him.
Yeah.
That's it. That's exactly right.
And then whatever he says back, you're going to tell us, okay? Yeah. And Stafford's going to be like, why am I getting this?
He'll write, yes, sir.
Not a bad gift, right?
Matthew responded to me.
I love it. Okay. I'll wear it when he wins it.
We begin in Cincinnati, where Joe Burrow made it clear that football, not a lot of fun at the moment. Listen to this.
If I want to keep doing this, I have to have fun doing it. I've been through a lot, and if it's not fun, then what am I doing it for? There's just a lot of things going on right now.
Okay, Adam Schefter with us now. Schefty, what should we make of Burrow there?
Well, Laura, I would say this. Yesterday also happened to be Joe Burrow's 29th birthday. So I think he was in a reflective, nostalgic type of mood where everybody sometimes in their birthdays takes stock of their life and analyzes where they are and what they'd like to do in the future. And it certainly sounds like that was something that Joe Burrow was contemplating yesterday. The interesting part is I think there are a lot of people across the league who took notice of that. Multiple teams were very curious about the statements that he made. If Joe Burrow didn't want to be in Cincinnati, there would be minimum 25 other teams lined up to add Joe Burrow. So we'll see what he decides, but clearly he's thinking about a lot of things, and as he said, he's got a lot of things going on in his life at this point in time. Meanwhile, Lamar Jackson, who didn't practice yesterday, returned to practice today and looks to be on track to play Sunday against Joe Burrow and the Bengals. There have been various ailments and injuries that have sidelined Jackson on Wednesdays during practice throughout this year. But again, back Thursday, that has been the pattern of behavior, and the pattern has been that he plays on Sunday. But it doesn't look like TJ Watt will be able to make it back this week to play on Monday night against the Miami Dolphins. Yesterday, while he was undergoing treatment at the Steelers training facility, somehow he wound up with a lung injury. Now, again, I think it's fair to assume, but don't know, that somehow his lung got at least semi-punctured. He wound up in the hospital. He spent the night in the hospital. He's still in the hospital after suffering a lung injury yesterday. And we'll see whether he can make it back on Monday. But my understanding is at this point, that would seem to be a surprise. And it looks like the Steelers will have to make do on Monday night against the Miami Dolphins without their standout pass rusher, TJ Watt.
Just a bizarre story. We're going to be talking to the Steelers in preparation for Monday Night Football. I'm really interested to see what they say. And Watt hasn't missed a regular season game in over 3 years, back in week 8 of 2022. Oh, my goodness. Old man Rivers. Come on. I didn't say that. They did. Okay, wild week in Indy with Philip Rivers coming out of retirement nearly 5 years after his final game. And one of the elder statesmen in the league happy Rivers is back.
I'm not the oldest guy in the league. I love that. It's pretty incredible, though, because he's been out for, I believe, 4 full seasons, plus this part of this season. I was laughing because a couple of my buddies hit me up asking what I would do in that situation, and I said, without missing a beat, I'm retired. I'm staying retired.
Interesting. Okay. Adam, where do things stand with the Colts and the starting QB position?
Listen, they want to see how Philip Rivers does as the week goes on. And Riley Leonard, once again, Laura, was listed as a full participant in practice today, despite the fact that he suffered a strained knee ligament on Sunday. So Riley Leonard gives them optionality for Sunday. But let's be honest, I think if Philip Rivers feels physically comfortable and physically up to the challenge, it feels like the Colts would be ready to hand over the starting assignment to him. You're talking about somebody who's a semifinalist on the ballot for the Pro Football Hall of Fame this year, and you return to a rookie late-round draft pick instead in Seattle, despite the fact that he hasn't played since the show launch and since there was COVID. So, I don't know. It sounds like Philip Rivers has a real chance to start, but they want to make sure he comes through the week okay.
Yeah, Peter, if Rivers does end up playing, what does it mean for his Hall of Fame chances?
Well, Adam obviously is aware of these bylaws as well, but I talked to Steve Weiss, who's at the NFL Network and is one of the many voters on the committee, and he said, here's the deal. If he's on the practice squad, he can still be up as a semifinalist and be voted for over Super Bowl weekend for the Hall of Fame. The second he is activated onto the active roster, his entire clock resets 5 years, so that we would be talking about Philip Rivers as a first-time candidate for voting into the Hall of Fame in 2030.
Oh.
That's when we would be talking about it, and potentially 2031 if this season were to go on and he's actually on the squad. So Rivers has to actively want to do this, yes, but if they do activate him, he's off the ballot and we won't see him again until the 2030s on that ballot.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm not sure he really cares that much about, he's going to get in most likely, as we know. He just loves ball, it seems like. This from our Colts reporter, Stephen Holder, 2 days in now. He says, my time in the building this week has left me only more convinced Philip Rivers is this week's starting quarterback. It isn't difficult to tell who a team is prepping to start. That player is Rivers, period. Wow. Okay, if Rivers does play on Sunday, he will face a Seahawks pass defense that is as good as any other in the league this year. They allow the fewest yards per attempt, second in picks, and get this, a league-high 200 quarterback pressures. Dan, Seattle, one of the few teams that make it hard on the opposing quarterback with their disguised coverages. What exactly could Rivers be walking into this week?
Yeah, crazy cut split pressures. We talked about it on this show last week of how not only Seattle, but many teams in the NFL when receivers are getting closer to those offensive tackles and tight ends and those cut splits, defenses are deciding to say, okay, here comes that corner pressure. You saw it in the Cincinnati-Buffalo game last week when it became this massive turnover. Everyone's like, Joe Burrow, what are you doing? See this cut split by Jamar Chase. Watch Benford, the corner, trigger, and then the answer for the quarterback is trying to dump it over the top. It completely flips this game. And so we saw it in Green Bay. Multiple teams are doing it. So I think if you're Phillip Rivers and this offense, you're watching the tape of everybody doing this and saying, hey, if we're going to get into cut splits, we got to be conscious of that. And I'm telling you, everybody in the NFL, be ready for it. Atlanta saw it a couple times last week, and I would say, J-Mac, you know better than I do, but I saw Seattle do some things when it came to cut split pressures that I've never seen before. So ball on the left hash, okay? We call this a cut split. Once again, that means that receiver, he's no longer fully extended out. That receiver's closer to that offensive line. We're doing that to maybe create leverage, get him across the field. Now, one of the things that stands out is when this guy goes in motion, okay, and I'm the quarterback and I see that defender here initially, I would have thought once he went in motion that once he goes, that corner would then pop out because you have to protect that part of the field. And this linebacker would become that pressuring defender. But Seattle still keeps it as the nickel. How and why?
A lot of times when you have these type of pressures, it depends upon what's being played behind it. So when you talk about this guy motioning out, what that now does is it takes away the disguise. When the corner's just here on a cut split, you can't tell if you're the quarterback. Once he doesn't go, well, now you know something's up. But because they're playing zone, this right here is Nick Emmanwori. He is a safety. He is the same body type as Witherspoon, who's going on the blitz. They're both DBs. So he can get out here and play zone coverage with a safety over the top and still get the job done. To your point, Dan, what's so different about these cornerback blitzes is when I was in the league, we'd have them called up and it would be communication. A lot of time between corner and safety. Sometimes it'd be a switch call. As he came in motion, I'd be looking at the safety.
Rotate roles, right?
Now you're doing it. Here, they're just calling it and it's on.
Have you ever seen it to the field, though, like this? Like with that, I've seen it to the boundary. The Bengals and Benford one was to the boundary. But doing it to the field, I don't know if I've ever seen that one before.
The difference is right now when McDonald's calling this is a double corner blitz. So to your point, when you're sending one guy, a lot of times that is to the boundary because that's where you're going to get a cut split. Well, you've talked about this all the time, what offenses are doing across the league. Now offenses are lining up in completely reduced formations where both sides of them are cut receivers. So now you can bring a corner from each side and still be okay coverage-wise.
So that's going to be a huge challenge. Phillip Rivers, 44 years old, hasn't played in over 4 full seasons. Going against a defense that not only is ridiculously talented and wants to play in attack mode, but Indianapolis loves to get into these shrunk splits for some of their stick routes and some of their RPOs. Can he see it before they actually trigger and be aware of it before the play actually gets snapped? Because if he doesn't, we could see something Cincinnati-Buffalo repeat.